Probably the most extreme house hack I've ever heard. Like I've heard of people house hacking, but never have I heard of somebody like separating units, putting them on Airbnb, doing corporate rentals with them. But they're all like single families turned multifamily.
Most of them are single family, turned into multifamily, Some of them are actually duplexes, triplexes.
Mm-hmm. So did you turn the triplex into a sixplex? At some point, obviously, you start getting into other things. Like, why and how did that play out?
I would say that.
What's up, well builders? Today, I've got Andres and Kelly, who have over 50 Airbnb units, along with a wholesaling operation and a whole bunch of other stuff. I'm excited to get into how they did that and where they're going. What's up, guys?
Aloha. Thank you for having us here.
What's going on, man?
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. So let's just jump right into it. Like, let the people know, like, where's your guys' business at right now?
Yeah, so right now we have about 75 doors. We're flipping about 20 to 30 houses a year. We're doing lending right now. And yeah, we're selling about 5 deals a month, wholesaling.
Yep.
Doing about 5 loans a month, roughly.
Yeah, you got your hands in the cookie jar everywhere.
And doing a little bit of everything,
Yeah.
This year we're going to start developing, so everything's all integrated within real estate.
Yeah.
But yeah, just doing basically, in the whole transaction, trying to figure out, how we can make money pretty much on all aspects.
Right. Mm-hmm. So let's just talk about the Airbnbs first, since a lot of people are curious about Airbnb. And I mean, obviously, if you guys manage over 50 of them, that's a lot. So how did you guys build that?
Well, first it started with converting one garage. We wanted it to pay off our mortgage. So there was a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom house, and we had a 1-car garage. We converted that garage into an Airbnb. We saw that it was working pretty good, and we continued into doing more of them. At the beginning, we were doing short-term rentals. We're in Orlando, so of course, this is a Universal. It's in our backyard. But then in 2018, as we were growing and getting more properties, the city started to get more strict as well as a lot more competition. So we found that also through COVID, we found out that there was another bigger demand for corporate rentals. And we switched out our strategy, and that's where we were scaling more. So most of our Airbnbs are actually rented on a 30 days minimum for either medical field or construction workers or insurance claims as well. And we needed, in the process, we had to also build out a property management company in order to keep up with all of them. So we have a virtual team. Of course, there is some in-person, like, handyman, plumber, and all of our networks to make sure that to help us manage this. But mainly the virtual team is what actually helps us with the communication and everything, leveraging our time to be able to focus on wholesaling and now new construction.
Got it. So with the Airbnbs, what led you guys down the path of just finding out that, like, hey, we want to do corporate rentals versus like short-term, managing them all? Like, what pushed you guys to that? Like, how did the numbers play out differently?
It wasn't really our choice. So we started an Airbnb in 2016.
Right.
And we started doing it daily. And there was no regulation in Orlando in 2016. So up until 2019, where Airbnb got a lot more popular, the city got, just a lot more regulation. And in one day, we had about 15 letters coming to us for 15 different properties that we were running daily rentals. And they basically told us that if we didn't stop, we were going to get a $1,000 fine per day per property. So that kind of forced us into a different, situation.
Strategy.
And that's where we had to look, okay, well, let's not sell these properties off because, we're very resilient, right? So we had to shift with that and basically said, okay, let's look at what we can do. And they said that the minimum that we were able to legally rent out each property was 30 days. So we said, okay, well, why don't we just keep them on Airbnb? Let's keep them on VRBO and let's try out 30 days minimum and see what happens. And that's kind of how we stumbled upon the midterm rentals. We found that there was a market, there was a niche for it. And we found out that it was much easier than renting per day to people who are coming to vacation. So it kind of it was a transition that we were forced into. but it worked out pretty well. So like she said, we mainly deal with companies who are coming to Orlando, whether they're construction companies, roofing companies, insurance claims, and it's been a pretty good transition.
So what does it look like? I mean, financially for one of those properties.
So just to kind of backtrack. So normally when we buy a house, most of them are single family. We kind of design them in a different way so they turn out to be multifamily properties, kind of. So basically what we'll normally do, like with that first house that we bought that we kind of house hacked, we bought it as a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and it had a 1-car garage. Nine times out of 10 when we buy a house, we convert the garage into a studio apartment. Yep. And just that one studio apartment will be essentially rented separately from the main house. And then secondly, a regular 3-bedroom, 2-bath, normally what we do is we'll divide into 2 more units, right? And basically it'll be a 2-bedroom, 1-bath, and then the master bedroom, what we'll normally do is we'll turn it into an efficiency. So we'll basically take a window, put a door, add a wet bar, and rent that out separately. So a normal single family house that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 1-car garage, we'll turn it into a 3-unit. And most of the time, the 1-car garage or 2-car garage rents for about $2,000 a month, corporate housing. The 2-bedroom will usually rent out for $2,500 to $3,000 a month. And then the efficiencies, which would be the master bedrooms, rent out for about $1,500. So normally each single family house that would normally rent out for, let's say my neighbor would rent out for $2,500 or $3,000 a month, they usually gross anywhere from $5,000 to $7,000 a month, roughly, each property.
And how much is the price point and the mortgage and all that stuff?
Yeah, so right now the average price point in Orlando is about $375,000. We started buying in 2016, so some of these properties we bought early on in $200,000, $250,000 price range. But yeah, right now our average home is probably worth about $450,000 to $475,000 because we buy in better areas. Our mortgages right now average is about $2,500. Utilities is about $500. So our total monthly nut average is about $3,000 a month per property.
And
so we're at 50% net.
Yeah. So and they're making $5,000 to $7,000. So like
gross, roughly, yeah, each one. Yeah.
Yeah. What about vacancy and all that? Because with corporate housing, it's different than short term where you're gonna just like have more flexibility and all that.
So it actually turned out to be much better. Because if you look at it, when you rent short term, you're going to have some spaces in between. But now doing with corporate rentals, you have the whole month rented at a time. So yes, we do have some spaces in between rentals, but for the most part, turns out to be a higher occupancy rate. Right now, I will say the market is changing a lot. So we've seen a decrease lately, and that's why we're also looking into new construction. The market just got way too saturated as well, but it is less turnover and higher occupancy rate with corporate housing.
So how long does the average tenant stay?
Between 1 to 3 months.
Got it. Okay. So what would you say a property will like truly net with how you've been doing it, factoring in the vacancy and all that stuff?
Each property net is average about $1,500 a month after paying all expenses.
$1,500 after
average in our rental portfolio at the moment.
That's counting vacancy, everything else.
Correct.
Okay.
$1,500.
Where did you get the idea to convert these single families into
Chop them out.
triplexes?
Dude, I don't know if it's in our Hispanic culture or not. Maybe it is. Maybe it is.
3 families live in one home.
I think it is.
Yeah,
I think that's what we're used to, really.
Yeah.
Yeah. My dad actually was telling me that my grandma at one point, she did that. Back in the 1920s. And she's like, yeah, you probably got that from her. And I was like, I have no idea this even happened, but okay. She basically turned her living room into a grocery store, and she turned her garage into 2 different units. And I'm like, is this, am I living out my grandma's life? So maybe it was cultural, I'm not sure. But the way that I saw it when we were living together, because this was the first house when we got married in 2016. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath with a 1-car garage, and all we were doing was just storing our stuff, our junk, a motorcycle. And I was like, man, this is wasted space. The plumbing's already there. I know somebody that could because I was already doing flips. I was like, man, we could with $15,000, we could easily rent this for $1,000 a month, and we can get our money back in a year. I was like, dude, this is a no-brainer. Why not? Why am I gonna have a house for a car? This doesn't make sense. Yeah. So yeah, it was just kind of an intuitive thing of dude, this is. I mean, the roof's already there, foundation's already there. It's pretty much already a house. We just need to put a little bit of money into it, and bing, boom, bum. We have financial freedom, and we've done that. A lot. And it's worked out a lot. And the story behind, how we kind of built, to 50 something units is by house hacking. So yeah, so we bought that first property, lived in the master bedroom, rented out the other 2 rooms
And
on
the garage.
Airbnb. So we had people from all over the world with us, from India to China, Japan, all over the place. We got to meet hundreds of people, which was amazing. Each room was making about $1,200 a month on Airbnb, so that was pretty cool. Our mortgage at that time was only $1,200. So just with one room, we were covering our nut. And then the garage was making about $2,000 a month. So it was $1,200, and then $2,000 a month. We were living in the master bedroom for free, and we lived there for a year. And we looked at each other and we were like, "Damn, this is great! Like, we should do this more often. We should do it. We should buy more houses." So we actually bought another property, another primary residence, a year after. So we lived there for a year, moved to a new primary residence, and essentially what we did there is we converted the master bedroom where we were living in into a studio apartment, opened up the door, put a wet bar, and rented that separately, and then moved into the new house. And the new house was basically the same thing. It was a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. It had a carport, and it had a little shed in the back, little ugly tiny shed, which we converted into a tiny house. We're talking about a 180 square foot shed that to this day pays that property's mortgage.
Wow.
Rents out for about $1,500 a month.
That's crazy.
And it really is a shed. It looks probably like a shed
Is
that
it
you
a
would
tough
have
shed
in your
or what?
backyard. What is it? Yeah.
It's a tough shed?
It's something like that. Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of, it's not really that nice, you know, or it wasn't nice.
I made it pretty.
You made it happen. You made it pop. But, you know, most people would have never thought to, hey, let's go put a little
So how many
kitchenette.
units is on that property now?
That
4.
one has 4, and it's 1,500 square feet.
That's
5
crazy.
bedrooms, 4 bathrooms.
so that's kind of the
4
strategy.
units.
How
You know,
does it
we-
handle so many people there? Like, that's a lot of people.
Well, we limit it as well. It's like 1 or 2 unit, 2 people max per unit. And
Yeah.
of course, we have to let them know. So everything is disclosed before on Airbnb. We explain them that this is something shared. And it's also, it's actually something really good as well for building community. It's like, imagine giving all of these people the opportunity to meet with each other, interact with each other, share their cultures, and also learn and grow, because that's also the reason why we're doing this. Is I believe in regenerative culture and doing everything with a purpose, and it also just helps out to create community.
Were you guys ever weirded out, like, with all these people staying with you guys?
What?
Like, were you guys ever weirded out with all these different people, like, staying with you guys? Like, were you ever concerned for your safety? Because it's, you know, strangers every time.
I used to at the beginning, actually, yeah. Before we started, I was pretty concerned about it, but it ended up being pretty cool, actually. It's Airbnb in itself is a community, and it has a culture, and everybody's very respectful. We have reviews between us and all of that. So the mindset already of when it's like I open my doors for you, you open your doors for me. So for the most part, people tend to be very respectful. So it's actually been, for the most part, pretty good. And we met people from everywhere in the world, and we've actually created those connections and work as well. We've found real estate investors. We've done investments as well with people that we met through there.
Wow. So with that, you know, you guys are buying these properties. You guys are living in them as you buy them. Like a true, like probably the most extreme house hack I've ever heard. Like I've heard of people house hacking and renting by the room to like their friends and their buddies, but never have I heard of somebody like separating units, putting them on Airbnb, doing corporate rentals with them. Were you doing the corporate rentals on Airbnbs? Like that's how you get all your clients?
For the most part.
Of them.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then also like I'm into Airbnb and social media and just referrals as well. So it's about maybe like a 80% Airbnb, 20% just referral base.
Yeah, because somebody was telling me before that for like these true corporate rentals, they have different companies like insurance companies and
Yes.
traveling nurses and things like
Furnish
that.
Finders, that's one of the apps. We're not on it, but there is some apps as well. But for the most part, Airbnb and Vrbo, they already own the majority of the market. And these companies also go through the apps to find us. So what we do is they will find us through the app, and then we establish the relationship, and then we do it directly moving forward.
Got it. So we're all, the 50-something units you guys have acquired, you bought them all and did this, or how'd that play out?
Most of them. We have so far only I believe 2, one in St. Petersburg and one in Melbourne that we do short-term rental. Yeah. But the rest of them and all of them corporate.
But they're all like single families turned multifamily.
Most of them are single family, turned into multifamily, Some of them are actually duplexes,
Duplex.
triplexes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Did you turn the
we
triplex
graduated.
into a sixplex? You just kept them as is?
Yeah, we've turned triplexes into quadplexes. Yeah, we always
Yeah,
try
I
to
wouldn't
find
look
an
past
angle.
that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maximizing the space utilization.
Yeah, you took the basement of something and just...
We don't have basements, but we do have attics.
Okay.
And actually, there's one property we turned the attic into another bedroom.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Anything that has a roof, dude, we're converting it for sure.
Yeah. Oh, it has a roof? Yeah, we're gonna insulate that, and that's a room.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's funny.
That's the way we look at it.
So, I mean, this is how you guys got started, right? I mean,
Yes.
this is your first journey into real estate. I mean, it's been 8 years now, and at some point, obviously, you start getting into other things. Like, why and how did that play out?
I would say that so I started with my real estate license. So I've always really been selling on the retail side as well. I've been selling about $10 million a year with the real estate since 2017, 2018. And so sales has always been in my background, and it's come naturally to me. And I guess through social media, through just influence people that saw what we were doing, they were like, hey man, I see that you're investing a lot. I want to get into Airbnb. I want to get into flipping. Sell me some properties. I want to start flipping. So basically wholesaling came about probably about 2018, 2019. We've been flipping basically since 2015, buying from other wholesalers. And essentially we just, we had a lot of people just reaching out to us, asking us for deals because they couldn't find any deals. I had a good relationship with a lot of realtors. And essentially we just started selling the deals that we were getting in our email, because we were getting inundated with a bunch of deals, and I'm like, hey, why not resell these deals? I can't buy all these deals. So we started wholesaling that way. We basically started partnering with other wholesalers and started selling them to our retail clients. So we started wholesaling back in 2018, and now we have a pretty decent operation. And now we dispo for other wholesalers, so that's been pretty good. And then I got my real estate or my mortgage license in 2020. And the way that I analyzed it was like this. I was selling $10 million a year in retail.
Yep.
Of those $10 million, I was selling as a buyer agent $6 million. Of those $6 million, I was lending or giving out $5 million to my preferred lender. So $5 million worth of real estate loans I was referring out, and I wasn't really getting much monetary value, right? So I reached out to my lender. I'm like, hey man, I'm referring you $5 million worth of loans every year. What do I need to do to get legally compensated? He's like, hey man, just get your license and I can get you paid. So I got my license, and essentially broke down to 1%. So now basically what I do is I refer out all my lending business and I make 1%. That's basically what it is. With basically not doing any more work than I was already doing, I was leaving $50,000 a year on the table. So that basically was a no-brainer for me. It took me 35 hours of my time to take the license, pass the test, and now I have an additional $50,000 a year for something that I'm already doing. And it also helps me too, because as real estate investors, we're always refinancing properties. We're always buying properties. So now that I'm a lender, now I'm able to look at the charts and I can get myself the better rates, better fees, and everything basically at cost. So it was kind of a no-brainer to get into that business as well.
Side note, it's a little off topic, but where do you think rates are going?
Yeah, rates are definitely going down. Yeah, 100% going down.
You
Yeah,
got
the
a
feds
guess?
have already said, where are they going? What
Next
amount?
year? Like, what's the lowest they get to next year? What's your guess?
I'd probably say about 4.5.
You think they're going under 5?
Yeah, I believe so. I believe so. I'm hoping so. I think
I'm hoping so. I'm hoping
Please.
so is
Please.
different than what I believe.
Yeah. So I would say hopefully to 4.5. I'm just throwing that number out there. Por favor, please.
You're just putting
let's
it
see
out
if we
there.
can make it happen for sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think there's the economy needs to be stimulated, and right now, it's just not affordable. I mean, it's cheaper to rent right now
Yeah.
than to
Way
buy.
cheaper.
So we need to come to at least a medium in order for the economy to boost up, and I think that the government is going to have to do something like that, or give some sort of incentive to the first-time home buyers to be able to boost this market, because it has slowed down a bit. I
Right.
think it's starting to pick up a little bit, but even at the rates that we're at right now, it's still cheaper to rent, and I don't see that being sustainable for the long term. So I do believe they're going down.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hopeful too. I mean, obviously, it's going to be in the fives, and I think for sure at least low fives. But if it gets under five, that'd be great. So
There are some new construction builders that are already under 5, by the way.
Oh yeah, those people give incentives and all that stuff.
Yeah, and with the rate buy downs, and like for example, like I'm looking at 5-1 arms in the fives right now for DSCR.
Yeah,
I was looking with a friend. She quoted me 5.525.
Yeah,
on I think it was like a 3-1 arm. So they're already starting to come down to the fives, and that's a DSCR loan, by the way. So if we're already
and getting
there
an
now,
arm's not bad right now because we would guess rates are going to be lower in the future.
Yeah. We just refinanced 4 houses this last month, and we did arms, 5-year arms.
Got it.
Yeah, because I do believe in the next 5 years it's gonna keep going down. Yeah, I believe so.
Got it.
So
obviously you start a bunch of things with lending, and you're a realtor. You guys are selling houses. You got the Airbnb thing, and then wholesale. So I mean, there's lots going on. You're talking about doing new development. Like, which one is the most profitable, would you say?
Wholesaling. Yeah, wholesaling is the most profitable, 100%.
Why do you think it's more profitable than the other ones? I mean, people listening are like, well, dude, you got 50 units and you just told me what they're making and all this stuff. How is wholesaling more profitable?
I guess the cost per lead is very, very low for us to attain because we're really not doing any marketing direct to seller. We're mainly just helping other wholesalers. We're partnering with wholesalers sell their deals, essentially. So it doesn't really have a lot of cost. It basically is just our labor cost. It's really what it is. Our virtual assistants is really like the true cost of us moving our wholesale deals, and the average fee is anywhere from 10 to 15,000. So it's a pretty decent return on investment. The homes are, as far as the cash flow, it's just taxes have gone up a lot.
Yep.
Insurance has gone up a lot, and it just requires a lot. Like just in landscaping, we probably spend $4,000 a month. In property taxes, I think it was almost $200,000 last year.
There was some emotional
insurance, $180,000 a year. So there's maintenance, repairs, and all these houses are super old. I mean, we're talking about houses from like 1920s, 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s. So the maintenance costs on them are very high. Now, if we count like the appreciation, yeah, we've made millions on the appreciation. The cost, when you add those things, maybe the rental portfolio is the better one. But as far as like cash flow, wholesaling is definitely the one that has more cash flow. But long-term wealth, obviously the rental properties are the ones that have made us millions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of what I've been saying for a long time. We're here at the mastermind today. So, you've been here and it's like, I'm talking about this cash flow 2.0 system. And it's like, to me, an automated wholesale business, if you can have other people doing it, like your VAs and other, it's like that cash flow, like money in your pocket every month is going to be much higher than even if you turn a single family into 5 houses, like it's still like going to beat it if you just do it right. So like, I guess knowing that, where do you guys foresee everything going? Because right now, we've talked a lot about it one-on-one, but it's like, you have like a lot of things that are doing good. How do you get like at least one thing to be like super crazy big? You know what I'm saying?
I would say that that's one of the things that we're working between both of us is hyper focusing on one thing. I rather focus on quality over quantity, and that's why we differ.
Yeah.
So I would say that it's been a pretty good ride, but at the end of the day, this is the time where we are figuring out what it is that we need to let go of, because it definitely an important situation of figuring out, okay, it seems pretty cool to be doing all of this, but at the end of the day, what it is that's really making the most amount of money, wholesaling and the portfolio. But where do we want to go moving forward? The goal and the reason why we also started this is, and the reason why our company is called Ecologic, is because we also want to be a solution for the planet, for the animals, for us overall. And that's why we're looking to get into new construction. So the money is great and the business is great, but also what is the purpose of doing all of this? To leave something good, to leave a legacy for the people that are going to be here after us. So at least for me, in my opinion, I would say that I'm looking into hyper focusing on keeping the portfolio, keeping the wholesaling, but investing more on actually creating that solution and moving forward with being more eco-friendly. So building the communities of the future. There is a project that we have in Big Island, Hawaii, and this one is going to be, we already have it as 2 acres of land, and we're going to build 10 units total. Each of these units is going to be about 200 square feet, tiny homes. So imagine 5 small units with a bigger house in the middle, and then other 5 with a bigger one in the middle as well, and offer this as a solution to the planet. So the construction is going to be, instead of concrete and wood, we're going to use bamboo, something that's more regenerative, and also implementing wellness. So teaching people also how to get more connected with their spirituality, with nature, with themselves through the real estate market. So mixing both of this.
Yeah, and I remember the first time I met you guys, that was obviously a huge passion, was all of the eco stuff and the planet and everything else. And so, you know, for me anyways, just looking at it from the outside, it's like, I understand there's like a fulfillment aspect of business, and then there's a money aspect of business. And if both can align, then it's like the best, right? But I could see how like wholesaling doesn't really do that for you. It's like, you know, we're trading paper and making money, and it's great, but the money allows us to go buy the development and fuel this. So like, you know, even though it may not like itself be this fulfilling thing, because that's what I tell people too. Like, man, I don't know if I want to wholesale. It's like, you just doing this and this and this. I don't really enjoy talking on the phone to sellers and, you know, all this stuff. And I'm like, well, do you enjoy what you could do if you had a lot of money? You know, what would you do if you had a bunch of money in your pocket and a business that was making you $20K a month, $50K a month, whatever, right? Like, oh, well, then I could do this. You know, for me, it's ministry. I could, you know, fund this. I could do this church. I could do that. And it's like, all right, well, how else are you going to do that? You know, if you could make a business around whatever that thing is, great. But if you can't, there are other alternatives. You can do any business and still get the same result, you know, that you're looking for purpose-wise. True. So, you know, I know like Andres, like where are you at with, you know, the development side of things? Because I know you're also passionate about that. Oh,
100%. Yeah. This has basically been what we've been building up for. We have all these verticals, and I don't want to let go of any of my babies. That's pretty much what it is, man. I don't want to let go of any of my babies, you know? So it's maybe a little bit me being stubborn, you know?
Yeah, you're the opposite of me. I'm like, cut it.
Eliminate it, dude.
Yeah,
it's so hard. I can't even fire anybody. Like I have somebody else that fires the people for me. But dude, it's tough. It's tough. So yeah, I feel like I may need to find, you know, maybe like a CEO for every specific part of the companies that we have, so we can really focus on the development thing. And so yeah, basically we've built this portfolio. It's going well. We have a lot of equity. And right now it's basically to the point where we have to eliminate the ones that are not cash flowing as much as the others, sell those off and use that money and put it 100% into development.
Yeah.
I've been flipping for a long time. So we have construction experience. We have the right people for the construction. And so now it's like, okay, so why did we come up with Ecologic back in 2017? Like what was the reason that we named it Ecologic? What is our purpose here in life? I think honestly, the first purpose that why I think we're here on this planet is to find inner peace, right? Number one. I feel like I'm at peace with myself, so that's good. Number two, okay, give back, right? Help Mother Earth, help other people. So that's really where I think we are in life and in business. And so this year we're starting our first project, 6-unit townhomes. We've been working on getting approval for years. I think we bought this property back in 2021, and in December we're gonna actually be able to like start like shovel ready. This is in Orlando, in Sanford, about 30 minutes north of downtown.
So this is different than the Hawaii project.
Correct. This one is like really happening this year, and we partnered with Ecovision, another good buddy of mine. We're 50-50 partners with him on this, and he's got a very similar mindset. Like he wants to build sustainable, affordable communities all around the country. And he's more on the development side. So he's basically going to be the one that's going to help us really bring this to reality. So he already has like almost $100 million worth of projects already like started, right? So he's going to be like a key part to us scaling this. And he's got a very similar vision. He wants to build regenerative, eco-friendly, sustainable communities. And so that's pretty much, you know, what the focus is going to be long term. And I have to find somebody who is going to be the CEO of the wholesaling, the CEO of the lending, and
property management.
that's going to be pretty much like the next hire that I need to do. Hire somebody who will be able to man that, so I can, truly focus my time and effort and energy into building this sustainable, community and.
But I think
take it from there.
with certain things, and this is like my feedback and also maybe even Kelly's points, like the lending doesn't do enough to support a CEO. So it's
Probably
like,
not.
it just like, it's either just going to be a passive thing that you just kind of do as it goes, or, you have to make the conscious effort to just
Let it go, maybe.
let it go or go all in and like make it so that it can afford actual staff and all those things. Cause it just doesn't generate enough to have somebody over it. Or there's somebody who's, overseeing multiple verticals, because as a whole, the verticals generate enough. And so, you basically hire, Andres too,
Right.
because he's just going to do what you're currently doing of managing that thing. And then, your rent or your agent clients and this, like that can absolutely happen. Like Javi out there, he oversees a lot of things. It's not just one specific thing.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Probably better.
Yeah. Because, I mean, it's like they're just not at a level where they need individual leaders yet.
Right.
That makes
yeah,
sense.
it's not as big yet.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Yet. But
Makes sense.
at the end of the day, right? It's like, and this is like the lesson I've learned. I've shared it with you before. I've grown, I don't know, at least 8 companies to 7 figures and a few to 8. And, at that level, yeah, they do need their own people, but like it's really hard to grow them all simultaneously. Like it takes pure focus, especially in a bad economy, which we are in. So
How did you do it? Was it one by one?
most of them, yeah. I mean, I definitely did not start all of them all at the same time. It was like I started house flipping, and then, I did that literally for 5 years and nothing else. And then I, delegated it out. And, I had the brokerage maybe for a few years, and that grew to like 200 agents. And then, we had the tax firm, and, that's grown really good. But, they were all like started in different years and different things. And, the education has grown, and now Lead Kitchen's growing. But like what I didn't realize was, okay, even though I started them all at different times and they all like grew at different times, when you look up, you still have them all. And so when the economy goes bad and things hit the fan, you have now 8 problems that you now have to individually deal with. And then,
So what are you doing at that point?
well, you have to make tough choices. Do you try to solve all of them to the best of your abilities in the time frame that you have? Do you shut some down? That's it. You either shut it down or you fix it. And some of them are easier decisions than others, because you just kind of look at the industry, the business, and everything else, and you're like, okay, this is clearly like not going to work out, right? And so it's like an easy decision. There's other ones where it's like, for example, maybe the lending, where it's just like very small compared to the rest of them. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you know what? Like, it's not really kind of worth, like that for me was the brokerage. It was very small compared to the rest. I'm like, it's just not worth, like it's easy on paper,
Yeah.
because it's just agents, but you get sued a couple times because you're responsible for the agents and they do something stupid. Now we're drug into this crap. I think we just finished a lawsuit from like 7 years ago.
That's crazy.
It's like, it was something crazy. Like, I think it was 2019, it was like 5 years ago. It's now done from the agents. Nothing we even, we spent, I don't know, tens of thousands fighting it to win, but there's no recourse. Like, it's just we won and defended ourselves. The agent freaking didn't pay for anything.
Right.
So it's like little things like that you realize like over
Risk.
time that it just, there's risk. There's always risk. For some reason, right? I don't know. You make a loan and somebody gets foreclosed on, and they're like, dude, I should have never got that loan to begin with. It's like, what are you talking about? But that's America. Just the more exposure you have, there's just more things that can happen.
That's something that I don't really think about too much. So that is a really good point. I
didn't think about it either.
Yeah.
Until lots of things hit the fan.
Started
And
getting
then I'm
sued,
like,
yeah.
oh yeah, this isn't worth the headache for so little upside. That's my point.
True.
Like risk is
sense.
fine. Every business has risk. It's just like,
If it's gonna have a high reward.
yeah, like is the reward worth all this headache? Or if I'm barely making anything and I got to deal with potential headaches, even if I don't have a headache today, what's the potential headache for such a little reward? It's like, it ain't worth it.
It's like a car rental business.
Did you guys have that too?
Yes.
We do, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, I was like, oh man, this is, house hacking. Why not car hacking? Why not? Let's make it happen. Let's
that
do
one
it.
is not being profitable.
And so, yeah, we bought a Lamborghini,
There we go.
Huracan Evo Spider, convertible, nice, 2-door. It's been fun.
Yeah.
And, the buddy that got me into it, he was like, look, dude, you're going to make a lot of money. The mortgage payment is going to be $5,200. You'll easily cash flow like $15,000 a month. And I was like, all right, let's go. Let's jump in on it.
$15,000 a month.
Yeah, that's what he said. I'm like, dude, I'm down with that. Let's go. And I don't know what happened, but when we bought it, the market changed, or he wasn't telling me the truth. I don't know what happened. Long story short, it's not. Yeah, I don't know what happened, but it's a lot of work. We do enjoy it. And honestly, I got it for multiple reasons, right? I got it because, hey, dude, I could die tomorrow, and I didn't enjoy my money.
Yeah.
Right. That's one thing that I was like, you know what? Let's do it. I've never splurged. We always live below our means. We lived in a garage for years, so I was like, look, let's enjoy our money. Screw it. We made it. So that was one. Secondly, it's good for marketing, right?
Right.
It's good for exposure. It gets more views on social media. So I thought, okay, well, if I'm going to get into this whole social media thing, might as well have a Lamborghini. Maybe it'll attract more sales. It may pay for itself that way. It also gets you into a room of other Lamborghini owners. So I've gone to a lot of meetups with people who own Lamborghinis, and I've already met really wealthy people. And I said, okay, well, if I'm going to start raising capital, I might as well get in these rooms. So that was another reason. And then lastly, I'm like, hey, okay, if I'm not using it on the weekdays or maybe a weekend I'm here, might as well rent it out. And if it pays for itself, then I'm solid.
So now it's not a rental car business anymore. It's your car for, all the reasons you mentioned.
Exactly.
And then, if you're not using it, if it rents, it rents. If it doesn't, it doesn't.
Exactly.
That's basically what it is now.
I don't really look at it as a business.
It started that way.
started
That's the
with it,
intention.
yes.
Yeah.
And then it wasn't viable. And you basically cut it. You're like, there's no point.
Yeah.
But if somebody does want to rent it, you have it.
Yeah, it's rented
all
right
good.
now.
Yeah. Last couple, 2-3 months, for the last 3 months, it's paid for itself.
That's good.
So that's not bad.
Yeah.
And I've used it for, 10 times, 10 days out of the 30 days. So it's really not that bad. It really is pretty good, car hacking.
But see, here's my point with it. Back to the example.
Liability.
100%, right?
Yeah, I
Somebody's
agree.
going to wreck it. I guarantee
come
it.
on, dude. Don't tell me that.
Well, I'm
That's
just
what
telling you because I know the Turo guys.
Yeah.
And my friend Houston's out here. He's been on the show.
Yeah.
I mean, that he's done it for 10 years.
Oof.
Lots of cars.
Yeah.
He built his whole YouTube channel on all the wrecks from the cars. he has like 1 million subscribers.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
And he literally it's like reality TV on his show because it's just him getting the calls every month. Dude, they wrecked it, and then bringing it back and it's all jacked up and he's monetized, how it is, but
Right.
even for him, he's like, nobody can do this. It's not worth it. And yeah, that's the thing. Cause at some point something's going to happen. Somebody's going to do
Right.
something stupid.
Yeah.
If you do it long enough, it will happen.
Right.
It's like, if you're a real estate investor, you will get sued. You will lose money on a deal. It's inevitable. It's just when you just have to do it enough. So it's like, all right now it makes no money. It breaks even.
Right.
And it will, at some point, something will happen.
Pretty much.
And for him, the horror stories have been that when insurance doesn't pay out and they fight you,
That would be terrible.
it happens a lot
Wow.
because especially with supercars and stuff, if you don't have the right insurance, you don't have the right liability because you are renting it out and you don't have a license and all
Right.
these things with it. And so somebody wrecks it, you're like, oh, insurance will pay it. And they're like, we ain't paying it. Now what?
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyways, yeah, maybe First, check your insurance. That would be the number one thing.
Yeah, we have that. And I do have that covered too, by the way.
Yeah.
I do have that covered. I have a friend of mine that does have a car rental business, and he did let me know like how to do it,
Properly.
what to check for.
Yeah.
And hopefully he's telling me the right information.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it's the same friend. Yeah.
It is the same guy.
Oh, no.
It
Do
is.
not trust that guy. Yeah. You need to. All right. I'm going to link you with somebody else because what's the saying? Fool me once.
Right? Yeah.
It's it's on me, or it's on them, right? Shame
Right.
on them. Fool me
Right.
twice, it's on you.
You're right. You're right.
Don't let them fool you twice. That's on you. But no, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Well, I mean, look, you guys are in Florida, right? I mean,
Yeah.
perfect example
Orlando.
right now is all the hurricanes.
Yeah.
You know how many people aren't getting insurance right now?
Crazy.
And like they had insurance, but just
Right.
the way it's going down. I just literally had a friend going through it because he's like, dude, what do you think I should do? Like I think he was saying I owe $500K on my house.
Yep.
They're going to declare it a total loss. So they're going to only pay out like $250K. Like that's how the insurance works. He's like, they're going to pay $250
Wow.
to basically, that's the cost to build a new house. So they're valuing the land at $250. He's like, what do you think I should do? Because I'm kind of like, I owe $500 on it. He's like, he's like, do I just like sell it as is with the land? Because it's on oceanfront. He's like, well, or I don't know if it's on oceanfront, but it's like, it's got like, it's something, whatever $500K is. But he's like, but the property values out there right now, after all this, ain't nobody like trying to buy out there right now. And
Right.
everyone else is going to probably be doing the same thing. Like everything's going up for sale now because they're all stuck in the same position of, well, I could take the money and I could build. And that's also too, he's still got to pay that mortgage. That mortgage doesn't care that it just got
Destroyed.
That mortgage still needs to get paid. And even if he takes the insurance money and builds, that's 2 years of building while paying the mortgage and living somewhere else. So like he's in like a really bad spot. He's like, dude, like I don't really know what to do. And I'm like, dude, that's like, I'm trying to think what I would even do in your situation because like on one hand, I'm like, do you just get foreclosed on and just let it be? Because the next, like, I don't think he should build a home. He's like, I don't want to live here anymore. This is the second hurricane in the last like 18 months.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I try to sell it now, I don't think I'm going to recoup. Like to me, in my mind, I'm like, dude, that just is so bad because insurance keeps going up.
Right.
And it still didn't even cover this catastrophic event. Like at the very least, insurance should just cover paying off the mortgage, give them the land. I know it doesn't work like this, but just, it's crazy.
Yeah, it would be tough for him to sell right now. Yeah, I would probably rebuild, really, and then sell at a later time, rent it out for some time, and just wait for the market to just get a little bit better. But that's a tough situation.
He's got to pay 2 mortgages for the next 2 years.
Damn. Yeah, that's tough.
And he's not the only one. Like everyone in the Southeast going through this is they have these problems.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, insurance has gone up like crazy amount. I think we went from $120,000 a year to $170,000 a year in a matter of
basically 50% up
6 months. And so it was crazy. Actually, we had to put on 12 roofs in 12 of our properties because the insurance was saying, hey, look, you have all these old houses with these old roofs.
Yep.
Your rate's going to go from $2,000 to $7,000.
Yeah.
Literally just like that. And it was like, holy shit, this is crazy. And so now we put on 12 roofs, which cost us about $160,000.
Yeah.
But now we're back down to the $120,000. So now we're going to be saving the $50,000 a year, and the payoff on the roofs are going to be about 3 years.
Yeah.
So
I
it
actually
totally made sense.
just had one of our other students who's here on the show, Donovan, and he lives in Florida. And he said that, yeah, if the roof is like over 10, 15 years old, we replace them.
Yeah.
And he's like, it will not get insurance. It won't pass.
Yep.
If we flip it. I'm
Yep.
like, he's like, there's nothing wrong with them. They look fine.
Yeah.
There's no leaks.
Yep.
And we just have to rip the roof off and replace them.
Pretty much.
I'm like, this is crazy.
Yep.
Florida's wild.
Yep. That's the reason why we decided to partner with the roofing company. And I know it's kind of crazy because it's another
Here we go.
business. It is another vertical, but yeah, it's something that, yeah, Florida's a very unique market, and we get keep getting hit with hurricanes, and it's just
It's gonna continue happening.
it's not gonna stop. So it's pretty much a gold mine.
I think for
roofing.
you're not really partnering with businesses and opening new things. You're just becoming like a big affiliate.
I would say so.
much.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
yeah, you could say
Like
that.
I wouldn't be like, yeah, dude, you're running all these, because you're not. You're just
Yeah.
referring business to things.
Pretty much.
You're like,
Yeah.
all right, here's
Getting
a
a piece of
here's a
Yep.
loan, here's a roofing client, here's a realtor client. You know, if you're not working the realtor, like I don't know, but like you're like just a massive referral business.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Which I
just a
think
connector.
is fine. Like it's
Yeah.
not like
Yeah.
you're having to think how to grow all these different things.
Real estate investors, I found a brand new way to create cash flow that's better than anything else I've ever done. It's better than rental properties, Airbnb, my flipping business, multifamily. It's the best thing we've done yet. It is building an automated wholesale business. Now you might be saying, Ryan, how do you build an automated wholesale business? Well, what if you had the same exact leads that I get every single month? What if you had a sales script that was so easy to close deals over the phone that you could do it all across the country? And what if you could sell your deals directly on the MLS without a real estate license and without having to actually own the property and getting top dollar? Well, we do that with this new method. And I made an 11-minute video where I go over how it all works, how you can start doing it today. So if you want to go see that video, go to wealthyinvestor.com, go click the case study and see what I'm talking about.
It comes down to like personal brand, and that's actually where I like to focus on, and I see that in you for sure as well. Is you're building your personal brand, and from that, then any other vertical that you want to focus on, it will just
Yeah.
become easy to sell. So it's similar model basically where we already have the people coming, so why not have the services where we can help them?
Yeah.
That be the connection point.
Yeah, as long as you're not having to build out these services,
Right.
Exactly.
that's where the problem becomes.
Yeah.
But yeah, like let that be another lesson for everyone why I love Vegas. So for anybody who wants to move, Vegas is the place. I don't have a referral link to any realtors, even though I know them all, but I always tell people, because you know a lot of people who are trying to move to like Florida are usually there for taxes. They don't want to
Yeah.
pay taxes, so like they have they're really like, okay, I'm looking at Florida, I'm looking at Texas, and I'm looking at Vegas.
Yeah.
Those are the big three for not paying taxes. And you know, with everything that's happened to Florida the last 2 years, I'm like, I get it. You want to live on the beach, like I get it, but
I think it's more of a lifestyle too.
Yeah.
Like nature and all of that.
yeah. So, but I'm like, all right, well, if you want to deal with, you know, natural disasters and high insurance, and you do it, I'm going to tell you to go to Vegas.
Hey, Florida's still great. Orlando is the spot. Because
Yeah.
you're
You're
basically like
insulated
in
a
the
little
middle.
bit.
Yeah, you're in the middle of everything, and you don't really get hit that bad, really. I mean, if you're gonna be like in the ocean,
Yeah.
dude, you're gonna get screwed.
It is what it is.
Eventually, unfortunately.
But California doesn't have that problem. But California has the tax.
Yeah, they have a bigger problem.
Yeah.
The whole tax
On
situation.
the other side, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah,
even
Orlando's
even
pretty
Texas
good.
gets hit by the hurricanes and stuff too. That's the crazy
Sometimes,
part.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah, we were there in Houston after the big hurricane in 2017. I forget what it was called. But I mean, that wiped out like all of Houston.
Yeah.
That was crazy.
Lots, yeah, I remember that.
Yeah. Yeah, the nice thing about, and I'm biased because I'm born and raised in Vegas, but we don't have any natural disasters at all. Like,
That's
we
good.
might feel an earthquake from California. California has earthquakes. That's like their only thing. But yeah, we like feel a ripple if they have one. But we have so many mountains around us that like nothing can come through. So it's kind of cool. But I mean, let's talk a little bit about the wholesale side. You guys are co-wholesaling.
Yep.
And, for those who don't know, that means you're just essentially getting deals that other people have already locked up, and they don't know how to find buyers, or they can't. And so you are just saying, hey, we'll find you a buyer, and, we'll chop up the profit. Is that basically how it goes down?
Yeah, a lot of the times, yeah. I mean, I've been buying from wholesalers for 10 years. So
Yeah.
I'm really good friends with them. And a lot of the times, a lot of wholesalers are either really good on the phone,
Yep.
or they're just really good at acquisitions and not so good at disposition. So we have built a very, very strong cash buyer list, mainly in Central Florida.
Yeah.
We also buy from them as well. So that's also like a good value. Like, hey man, dude, give us this deal. Worst case scenario, we'll take it down. We'll buy it ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah, you're guaranteeing, you're like, it's getting bought one way or the other.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We also have access to the cartel mode on Investor Lift that helps
Yep.
out a lot. $50,000 a year gets us exposure. We have 2 dispo guys that cold call for buyers, which a lot of people don't have that set up, don't have that infrastructure. So yeah, we just provide a solution to them. And yeah, it's just working good relationships. A lot of the times I tell them, look, what are you good at? You're good on the phone, right? You're good at talking to that seller, getting them under contract. Do that, focus on that. Give us the contract and we'll take care of the rest.
Yeah.
You do what you love and we'll focus on doing this.
Yeah.
And it's worked out pretty well.
Yeah. Do you guys plan to go direct to seller at all?
We've talked about it. It's just a completely different business.
Yeah.
So I would like to, but I'm not sure if I want to do it at the moment.
Right.
Yeah.
I don't want to, honestly.
Yeah, she doesn't want to do it.
Because you want to do the development. That's
Yes.
where like your heart is.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I agree with that too. I don't think that we're probably going to go direct to seller because then we would really have
We'll
to
hyper-focus
invest
on
money
that.
in that and infrastructure and more sales, and I don't think I want to do that. At the
Yeah.
moment.
Because you're already doing the new thing with the development.
Yeah, so I don't think we're going to do that.
Yeah. Tell me about the development itself. So like these townhomes, I mean, I know you're trying to like go eco, renewable, regenerative, affordable. What does that even mean?
Sure. So from the construction point of view, we're going to be building firstly with solar panels. So all the townhomes are going to be pre-sold with solar panels.
Okay.
We're going to have water reclamation system, which means we're going to recycle the
Rainwater.
rainwater. We're basically going to do like a catchment, and that is going to have a reserving tank of water, and it's going to be connected to a fruit and vegetable garden that every unit is going to have in their front yard. So it's just a little bit of a different concept. Like you think of all the beautiful HOAs and you think of all this grass that we have in our homes, and it's beautiful, but what value is it really bringing other than just looking pretty, right? It's wasting water and it's really not really doing much. There's no pollination. There's really no value to Mother Earth or the planet or whatever the case. So changing that aspect of just having grass just to grow it to having fruit and vegetables, right? That we can connect with, that we can have our kids pick and grow, right? That we can share, my carrots with your eggplants, right? That's something that's missing in our communities, in our HOAs,
Our way
and
of
that's something that we're looking to bring back. Just that simple concept of just, hey, instead of grass, why don't we just actually grow shit that we can eat,
Yeah.
right? Let's connect with our food again, right? Let's eat healthier, right? Let's not go to the grocery store and eat the GMO bullshit that we have, right? It's like the way I think we should be living. I think it's the wave of the future, right? So that's pretty much the concept behind that. We also inside, we're gonna have hydroponics in the kitchen.
What is that?
So hydroponics, and I have that. We have that right now in our house. So basically, a hydroponic system is just it's a grow tower. So just imagine just a plastic tower with LED lights around it, and it has basically a reservoir of water. It has a water pump, and it connects all the way up, and it basically has like a trickle down effect of like rain, right? So it basically waters itself. And it allows you to grow hydroponically.
Vertical farming.
Vertical farming. You can grow fruits and vegetables basically inside your house. So like right now, we have okras growing. I have beans growing in my living room. I have cilantro, basil, lettuce, and kale. And so when I'm making salads, I put some of the things that I've grown in my salad. And just the connection of basically, it's like they're like your babies, right? But it's also like the highest quality food that you can really find because it doesn't have any pesticides, it doesn't have any GMO, and you grew it yourself.
What?
So I think that is really missing from most of the other HOAs, right? We're not really connected with our food. We're so disconnected from the food really nowadays that we don't even think about the consequences. Like for example, like we don't eat any animals. We're plant based, and I think one of the biggest, the saddest things that are happening right now in our society that we don't really like to talk about is the way that animals are being treated. We really just we disconnect. We don't even think about it, right? And kind of like what would Jesus do? I know you love Jesus and everything. Do you think Jesus would eat animals the way they're being treated right now? If you look at the videos of the cows, if you look at the videos of the beautiful chickens, of the pigs, these animals are no better. We're no better than them. We're no better than them at all. We are all equal, in my opinion. I don't know. I could be wrong. And we have, in my opinion, we have no right to do what we're doing with the animals. And so,
And not only that, but like everything that we're consuming and all that suffering that they're going through, that's
the
getting
sadness,
transferred into us.
the depression.
Energy doesn't disappear, it gets transferred. So as we're eating that, we're literally contaminating ourselves with that. And then what's happening with America overall, obesity and all of these problems that are being developed by not only the food that we're eating, but the environments that we surround ourselves with, the people that we are with, the music that we listen to, the conversations that we're having,
Yeah.
the TV that we're putting into. So the goal with this new way of building is to basically unite all of this. There is something that's called permaculture. Permaculture is a couple different principles that basically help us as human beings to live more in alignment with everything, not just ourselves, but the ecosystem, the animals, basically uniting all one and seeing it as the unity that we are, and being more aware of the effect, what is the ripple effect that's happening, the butterfly effect. So imagine if what we're doing, there's more people being more conscious about this everywhere in the world. Slowly but surely, we're going to be eliminating the real big problems that we have, which is like we're pretty much ending with our planet Earth.
Yeah.
Then what happens if the wholesaling is not going to fix it, let's say,
Yeah. It's just the money that wholesaling could make. That's
Exactly,
the only thing.
and which is extremely necessary for sure.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the vehicle that then allows us to do the end goal, which is
Yeah.
really be a solution.
And I think Elon Musk is a big,
Yes.
kind of example of that. It's like he's building businesses that obviously help the planet.
Yes.
But his main mission, if everyone like really looks at it, is he just wants to like colonize Mars. Like that just
Yeah.
comes down to really what he's trying to do. And he's like, if I can make this planet better and I can make a lot of money doing it, great, I'm going to do that. But my main thing is I want to just get people to Mars. Like that's kind of how I think he sees how he just like lives every day.
I believe
Well,
that there
yeah.
is a solution also. Maybe we don't have to go to Mars. Maybe we can save this one.
I'm with you. I'm not agreeing, but I'm just saying that's how I think he chooses to
for
fuel
sure.
himself and his decision making.
And I agree, as well. No,
Yeah.
against it.
So like, I was just, when you were talking about the food in the house, I was like, why not just do it outside? Like, why do you need all
Yeah,
that?
you can have both. That's why I said fruit and vegetable garden for the outside.
Yeah.
But there are some things so Florida, for example, I mean, it just depends on the environment, depends where you are. But in Florida, it's just it's just more difficult to grow things. It's all seasonal, right? So indoors, you could grow
More control.
anytime, any day,
That makes sense.
no matter what. So it's a lot easier to control. It can be automated. Like right now, I've been out of the house for 3-4 days, and right now the electricity's on and it's on a timer. The whole grow tower is watering itself twice a day, so it's like out of sight, out of mind. I don't have to think about all the animals that would be eating it if it was outdoors.
Right.
So it's more scalable to do it like that, and technology helps a lot. So I think that as our technology gets stronger, we have to basically like marry technology and nature so we can really progress and really turn these things around.
Yeah.
And yeah, going back to what you said about the whole, what the animals and the sadness and the depression, dude. I analyze like, dude, we live in such an amazing country. I think the United States is one of the top countries in the world, and we have like the highest rate of depression,
Yeah.
right? And somebody asked me that. I was like, hey, what do you think? All these people are depressed, and I'm like, maybe it has something to do with the depressed meat that we're all eating at the end of the day. And I was like, that's interesting, right? Because if you really think about energy, it doesn't get lost, it gets transferred.
Yeah.
Always. And all that sadness and depression that these animals are feeling because they are not living the way they're supposed to. They know that, dude. They've been living for hundreds of thousands of years, roaming around, living happily. And like, it's like, interesting how we don't think about these things. We just kind of go about life. And
Would you, I know you guys don't, but would you eat animals if they were just like wild?
I have, and yeah, I probably would. Yeah, again, it just depends on
consider
on
it.
the energy.
Yeah.
Depends on the energy. Yeah,
Right.
100%.
So
If I
it's,
know that
it's
I'm
not
not doing
necessarily
harm
about
to
being
them.
like a vegan. It's more about
No.
how they're treated is the
Yes.
problem.
Exactly. 100%. If they're treated with love and care, they live a good life and it's a positive energy, right? I believe a lot in energies. So if it is a positive energy animal,
Yeah.
if they were happy, dude, I want some of that happiness too, man, because I actually do enjoy the taste of it,
And I also think it's something also more personal. So it's not
Yeah.
like to encourage everybody to be vegan. No, I
Yeah.
also
Sure.
believe that like each person has a free.
You reminded me of this funny thing. I forget what it's called, but you know, there's this ham you can get where, man, it's like super expensive. It's at the Wynn, their French restaurant. I can't remember, but anyways, they explained to us. They were like, yeah, so this is like the most rare ham, and really the way it does is these pigs eat these like really they're all out doing their own thing. They eat these like acorns that are only in this spot, and
Yes.
like, you know, they have the best life ever, and that's what makes them like this crazy meat. And I was like, okay, that sounds interesting. And then like even with like Wagyu and stuff. Oh well, no, I can't remember if this was Wagyu or part of the pig story, but like they're like, yeah, and then like they drink beer and like all this crazy stuff like that makes it the way it is. And I was like, huh, okay.
Did you try
They
it?
get like massages too.
Yeah.
I'm mixing up a Wagyu story and that, but like long story short, I've heard of meat getting, you know, massages, drinking beer, eating these acorns and different things, and like I'm like, dang, that, you know what? He had a good life. That's what he did. He was living it up. But yeah, I ate it. It was good. It was good.
Yeah.
It was good.
Yeah. I think I've had the acorn.
The acorn pig.
I've had it before.
Yeah, it's super rare. I
tasted
forgot
it.
what it's called. If anyone knows in the comments, let me know what I'm thinking of. But okay, I mean, like, but back to this townhome thing. I mean, like, okay, I understand you want to plant gardens, you
Yep.
want to put this machine in the house.
Yes.
Is there anything to the construction that is different? I mean, solar, obviously, like you said.
Solar water reclamation system, and well, not right now, but because the regulations also that are in place. But with the other project, the one that we want to do, that we are doing in Hawaii, that one will be built out differently. So
Yeah, you said with bamboo.
yes, with bamboo and more. There's also in Big Island, there's a volcano, and it's an active volcano. There's a lot of volcanic rock, and this rock actually is buildable material as well.
Got it. But like, what's special about the bamboo versus just normal framing?
It
wood?
grows like bamboo grows much faster. It requires less water. Creating concrete, for example, the amount of water that's needed to create it, it's not sustainable. And same thing with the wood. We're pretty much killing out the trees compared to bamboo. It grows just at a much faster pace.
Got it. So they can keep cutting and chopping, and it'll keep regenerating.
Regenerating, yes. And that's the key, is regenerative. That's mainly the point is doing everything that we do on a regenerative way instead of degenerating.
That makes sense. So, I mean, what's the vision for that? I mean, obviously do one townhouse community, do a Hawaii, like, by the way, like, why Hawaii? Like, that's far from Florida.
Pretty far, so we decided to go there. It was our 5th year anniversary, and it was just a dream that I had. And my whole life I've been called to. We're both from Colombia, so it's also the farthest place that we could be ever. So and then once we got there, first time we went was in 2021. We spent there 1 month. Going island hopping, and it changed our lives, and especially my life. I feel like it really impacted me on a deep level, more in a spiritual way, and it made me more aware of analyzing what I was doing, and it helped me to pinpoint my purpose in my life.
Yeah.
And I saw what community is. There is a lot of communities over there that are living in this regenerative way that I'm talking about. So these communities that we want to build are already existing, and there is multiple of them, and they have this different way of living. And once we saw and experimented that, I saw that they were more happy, they had more inner peace, they were still successful having their businesses, but they had a different appreciation for life.
Right.
And I realized that in these 8 years that we've been running and growing businesses, at least for me, that got a little bit deferred. Like, I was losing purpose and going just for the money and the business.
Right.
So then being around these communities and these people, I realized the importance of not forgetting about that, not forgetting about our roots, not forgetting about the real impact that we're creating in this planet Earth, no matter what we're doing.
Yeah.
So it was a self-discovery process, and then we kept going to Hawaii, and pretty much the property found us. We weren't really looking for it, but we're in real estate, of course, so we're just
You're
looking at
always
Zillow.
everything is opportunity.
Everything
Always
is
looking for deals.
So the opportunity found us, and we're like, well, why not? We're already here,
Yeah.
and we're loving it. Let's do it.
Got it. So do you own that property already?
Yes.
Okay, got it. So you just bought land.
Yes.
And you're just gonna
it's
build
it's a
on it at
fixer
some
upper.
point.
It has a property that needs to be demoed. It's 2 acres with it was like a 2-bedroom. We need to demo it, but yeah, it's pretty much vacant land.
Got it. How much did it cost?
We paid $65K for it.
Got it. You're
Which
just
is
like,
crazy actually, because we're looking at prices in Maui and vacant land. It's at like 2 million starting.
Yeah.
But Big Island on the other side is kind of like the Wild Wild West.
Yeah,
Everything is cheaper, it's more rural,
Yeah.
and it's also more open for these communities to happen. They have something very interesting that we don't have in Florida, which is the city allows for something that's called detached bedrooms. So imagine a 5-bedroom house. The house can have each of those 5 bedrooms can be separate from the main structure. Connected through, it can be an open, like a gazebo, for example.
Yeah.
So this allows for the concept of glamping. I'm sure you've heard of
Yeah.
glamping before. It's very...
so you'll just connect all 5 of them from the top, like have like a
Yeah.
little circle.
They don't even have to
Exactly.
be connected through roof, as long
Okay.
as they're connected
Like a
literally through a
walkway.
walkway.
Then they're
And so
just
the
little
goal
hotels.
is like a-
Basically, that's what it is, dude. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like
Pretty much.
10 little tiny houses. That's pretty much the concept.
So you guys can do that. You can build a 10-bedroom home.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
That's
Agricultural zoning.
The code allows for 2 5-bedroom homes.
Oh,
With
That's
the
basically what it
detached
is.
bedrooms.
So we're gonna do all the bedrooms detached. So basically, 10 detached bedrooms.
and then you can technically have a main house too on each.
Yes.
Yeah. So technically, there's gonna be 12 structures.
The main
Total.
house is just like a kitchen and a
Correct.
living room, whatever.
2-story, imagine a 2-story property. The main floor will be like an open yoga studio looking thing, and
Yeah.
that will be for event space as well, gathering classes. Our goal is also to implement this, like have somebody that is teaching daily yoga classes, meditation classes, basically having the opportunity for, let's say, corporate retreats.
Yeah.
So let's say you want to bring everybody from your office and
Yeah.
give them some time to going back to themselves.
Right.
And then they go there and they transform for a week or a 2 weeks workshop, spiritual workshop,
Yeah. That makes sense.
and have an experience that's going to change their lives. And of course, seeing all the scenery that Hawaii
Would the
offers.
big picture be, I mean, obviously these are going to be like your first development projects, but I imagine you probably want like a massive wellness center, retreat center type
in
deal.
every major city of the world.
There we go.
Yes.
So it's just like getting your feet wet, learning how to do it with this.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah. Well, cool. I mean, man, there's so many things you guys are working on. And I'll say this. I personally am a fan of people who think big, right? You know, a lot of people listening are like, how the heck, freaking, these guys are crazy, you know, like doing this and this and that, doing this and this. And it's like, I would rather take a crazy person and then like hone them in to get focused on like the couple of things that are working good or whatever versus the person who's like, oh, that's too hard. That's impossible. That's because like that person will only always be here, you know? And it takes big visionaries who are willing to fail, who are willing to try new things, who are willing to, you know, put themselves out there and do the unthinkable. And those people change the world. Those people are the ones who end up doing some amazing things. So I like it.
Yeah, my goal
you.
really, like,
Yeah.
at 17, I made the decision that I was going to be a millionaire. And at 28, I made the decision that I was going to be a billionaire. And that was a pretty big decision for me because once you decide to become a billionaire, at least for me, it wasn't even about me. It wasn't even about the money. It wasn't even about what am I going to do with $1 billion. It's how many people am I going to help when I become a billionaire, right? How are we going to do it? We have to help millions of people. And one of the goals that I have is to give out free energy and free housing eventually. And one of my goals I've said many times is that I want to partner with Elon Musk.
He's the
Because
guy doing
he's got the vision to really, you know, turn this thing around. And that's pretty much why I'm here, man. You know, that this is going to be my long-term passion. So I don't think that I'll ever retire. I think somebody asked me like, hey man, like when are you going to be done? And I just don't think there's ever going to be an end to it. Kind of like Elon Musk. He doesn't do it for money anymore. He lives in a 400 square foot apartment. I live in a very humble place. I don't need the mansion. I don't need any of that. I'd rather live humbly and you know, devote myself to this project.
Yeah.
Full time.
Yeah. I'll say there's a freedom in not having like all your own personal things. And
Yeah.
I've been guilty of that, you know, the last bunch of years, just accumulating like lots of stuff. And
Yeah.
I was always a minimalist before. Like I never, and I use air quotes with minimalist because it's not like I was like a hardcore minimalist. I had, you know, a couple of outfits and like nothing, but like, you know, I didn't buy much stuff. Like
living under your means, let's say.
yeah, I lived very under my means, and yeah, it was just like, yeah, we don't need all this stuff. Like, let's just get this and all that, and yeah. Then I accumulated a lot of stuff, and now I'm like, yeah, I'm definitely not any happier, you know. And in fact, when things get harder, all this stuff now becomes like a thing. You're like, dang, why do I have this? I don't need this. Like, it's just costing me money. This is stupid. You know, why did I waste money on this thing? It's not even worth that anymore. And like cars and different things like that, right? And yeah, I mean, you have to experience it. So I understand that. Like for anybody who's trying to make it or achieve certain things or wealth, you know, people can tell you that, but until you do it and see it for yourself, you're not going to listen.
Yeah.
And so I understand that, but it just takes going through different things to be able to like fully understand. But yeah, I appreciate you guys. Where can people find out more about you guys?
You can find me on Instagram as Kelly_Airbnb expert.
And then my Instagram is Andres_Airbnb expert.
Airbnb expert. Easy to remember, guys.
And I have another one, Woman Empowerment Show.
There we go. So guys, go check them out. You want to learn about Airbnb, house hacking, all the ways that they built their portfolio. They can definitely help you out. And we'll catch you on the next one. Peace.